Good morning to one and all present here. I am M. Ramesh, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Aerospace Engineering, SNS College of Technology, Coimbatore. Today, I am going to discuss mechanical properties of materials in mechanics of solids. Today, mechanical properties of materials we are going to discuss. Some of the mechanical properties I will list down. First one is strength. What is meant by strength? Strength is a mechanical property of the material and it is the capacity of the material, how much load it can withstand. The load withstand is higher than the material having more amount of strength. Otherwise, it will be having less amount of strength. Second one is elasticity. We all know that what is elasticity. For an example, rubber band, you just stretch it and release it. What happens? So, whenever you are applying a load, the material tends to deform. If we release the load, it regains its original shape. So, that property is called as elasticity, as in case of rubber band. So, that is called elasticity. And the next one is called plasticity. It is the opposite word of the elasticity. Okay, and something but the same thing. If you apply the load, it will stretch or compress. Okay, but it will not into regain its original shape. Okay, simply we can say that elasticity means we have a temporary deformation, and in plasticity, a permanent deformation will be there. Next, hardness. Next one is hardness. It is also a mechanical property of the material which will give you the resistance to the material for scratch and crack, as well as penetration to the material, and it will give you the bending strength also. It gives the bending strength also. We know that we are all thinking that hardest material so that it will not break, but the fact is hardest material will break easily. Let's take a simple example for a hardness is ceramics, which is hardest material, but it will break very easily. And the next one is toughness. It is also a mechanical property of the material, and here the material property which will give you the resistance for breaking. If you apply more amount or heavy amount of load here, the material will withstand, the toughest material will withstand that load. For example, shock load will be applicable for toughness. Next one is a very important one, ductility. Ductility is the material property, and this material is having the tendency to be drawn into wire while the material being applied or hammered. Okay. For an example, copper. The copper material can be hammered and drawn into copper wire. Next one is malleability. Similar to ductility, and this material also being hammered, and instead of drawn into wire, this property will yield to sheet. Okay, the material will have the tendency to draw into sheet metal. Okay, so this property is called malleability. Next one is fatigue. It is in our case we are getting very tired by means of doing repeated work. Okay, initially we are very active, then number of time period is going on, we will have so much tired. Like that, repeated or cyclic load will be applied here. Step by step, it will have more strain. Okay, so the material will get strained by means of applying more repeated cyclic loading. That is called fatigue. Finally, creep. In this, it is a function of time. It will have a slow deformation, very slow deformation. It takes a very long time to get the structural damage. That is called creep. And once again, one more thing is called weldability. It is a very important property of the material while manufacturing or any design point of view. Whether the material is to be weldable one or not, we have to check, because welding is something that is a joining process of the material to dissimilar or dissimilar materials. But let's take a steel as well as aluminium, we cannot weld. So accordingly, we have to check whether the materials are weldable or non-weldable. So these are the very important mechanical properties to be discussed in mechanics of solids, and whether they are very much dealt with or concentrated on forces. Okay, so how the behavior of the materials, those are the things very important today. We have listed out all the mechanical properties of materials and how it reacts, and what about the effects. Okay, those things we have discussed, and we have to go for another topic in the next class. Thank you.